Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain to you about methods or types of sampling. There are two types of sampling. One is probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In under the probability sampling we have got simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic random sampling, cluster or multi-stage sampling, sequential sampling. Under the non-probability sampling, we have got purposive sampling, convenience sampling, consecutive sampling, quota sampling, snowball sampling. So one by one, let me explain it to you. So what is the probability sampling and non-probability sampling at first? So the name suggests probability sampling. So based on the name itself, I can explain to you that probability means there are some chances to be selected. So in this type of sampling, all the five types has the equal chance given to all the units under the population to be selected, and there are the representative samples that are being selected. There is less bias because they are randomly chosen. Each element has probability to be selected. That's why it is called as probability sampling. Next one is non-probability sampling, where only certain elements have more probability to be part of the samples. Others have no chance of being included. They are selected based on the choice. That is, on their own choice, the researcher's choice, the samples have been selected, and no chance is given, no equal chance is given to all the units that are there in the population. Elements chosen by non-random, there is no randomization, randomly they're not been selected, so they come under the non-probability sampling technique. So all the five types are this, all the types in the probability sample are these. So next we'll move on. The first type, simple random sampling under the probability sampling technique. So simple random sampling, as the name suggests, it is very easy to do, and easily the samples can be selected from the population. Here they identify the accessible population. The whole population has given equal chance to be selected or chosen by the researcher. Each sample is selected independently of the other member of the population. So you have to remember, it is very simple technique. Randomly the samples are selected. All the population units are given equal chance, and they are selected. It comes as probability sampling technique. So these points, if it is written, it's more than enough for the explanation. Under this, there are three methods to do this simple random sampling technique. One is lottery method, the user of table of random numbers, and the use of computers, wherein the table of random numbers are used using the computers. Here we have to remember that this simple random sampling is suitable only if the population group is homogeneous population group. That means all the whole population is of same type. If there are different variety, there is stratified random sampling that we can choose. But here all the samples are having the same characteristics. All the whole population is homogeneous in nature, means having the same characteristics. That is homogeneous population. Researcher must have list of the accessible. Whomever they are able to access, they should have the list. So that's why it is called the researcher should have the list. So the three techniques already have told: lottery method, use of table of random numbers, and the computers. So let's move on to the lottery method. In this lottery method, as usual, the slips will have the sample's name, or slips can have the sample's number, which we are denoting to be chosen. They will be put in a bowl, and we are drawing one by one, that is selecting one by one. When we are doing this selection, all the chits are in that bowl or a hat, that is a container where we are going to draw the samples. So by doing this, we are giving equal chance to all the whole population, and the selection is done. Here we can use this replacement method or without replacement. Once the chit is chosen, if they are putting it back into the bowl again, and then again selection is started, it is called with replacement. If they are removed, once the chit is chosen, that the sample is selected, if it is kept aside, it is called without replacement method. Any one method we can use, but it is all lottery method. It's a very traditional and very age old method which we use for many times, even in classrooms, even in the for fun, like that. for the games and all. See, this is lottery method where we are using it for under the simple random sampling as a probability sampling technique. Next one is use of table of random numbers. Here the random numbers will be written down and the researcher will be blindfolded, and then they randomly select the number of the samples. So this will be the table of random numbers. Randomly they will point out to the samples and those samples will be randomly selected. Equal chance is given. This is how the samples are selected. So next is use of the computers. Here the same random number will be used, but there will be computers will be used during in this method. Next is simple random samplings techniques, merits and demerits. So the merits of simple random sampling: it's easy to assemble the samples, it is unbiased method, sampling errors are very less, and sampling errors can be corrected also, and it is random selection of the samples are very much assured. Demerits of this simple random sampling is the complete list needs to be prepared. The large group, it is very difficult. Using the data known about the samples are not considered. If we are known, then we cannot not consider. It's a long procedure, consumes much time and energy. So next one is stratified random sampling method. So in this stratified random sampling, we are using where the group is heterogeneous in nature. So heterogeneous population, and then this is one of the probability sampling as we know, and the whole population is divided into subgroups or strata, and the random selection happens among the stratas. So here the strata means the different layers, that is the different groups available in the population. That group can be based on the age, gender, religion, socioeconomic status, diagnosis, education, or even the sickness, we can say the disease condition. All that can become one of the strata with the stratified random sampling is the technique which we can use if the group is heterogeneous. So stratified random sampling, there are two types: proportionate stratified random sampling, disproportionate stratified random sampling. The sample chosen from each stratum is in the proportion to the size of the population. So from which strata we are using, that is proportionate to the whole population, that is proportionate stratified. The sample chosen are not proportionate to the population size, that is disproportionate. So each stratum has similar fraction of sampling. The same portion of the samples will be selected from each subgroups among the population, choosing 50% of samples from the each strata. So we are giving equally, we are selecting from different strata, so that is proportionate stratified sampling. So these are strata, and then proportionate and disproportionate stratified random sampling. Next technique is systematic random sampling.